Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Sadashi Srimad Divine Grace AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astottara Sadashi Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai अनंत बड़ी वैष्णव वृंद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय समावेत भक्त वृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 20, text 3 and 4. So nice verses, long purports, especially the 4th one. And the topic is Vidura. So we could actually go on for hours, but we have about half an hour or so. So let's see. The purport is beautiful. Vidura himself is an amazing character. Let's see where we go today. So verses 3 and 4, Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 20. Just read verse word by word first. Dvapayanad from Vyasadev. Anavaroho in no way inferior. Mahitve in greatness. Tarsya his Vyasas. Dehajaha born of his body. Sarvatmana with all his heart. Shritaha took shelter. Krishnam, Lord Krishna. Tatparams, those devoted to him. Cha api, and also. Anuvrataha followed. Dvapayana anavaro mohitve tasya dehajaha. Sarvatmana Shrita Krishnam Tatparam Chapi Anuvrataha Vapayanat Anavaro Mahitve Tasya Dehajaha Sarvatmana Shrita Krishnam Tatparam Chapi Anuvrataha. Translation. Vidura was born from the body of Vedavyasa and was not less than he. The first two lines. In the second two lines, thus he accepted the lotus feet of Krishna wholeheartedly and was attached to his devotees. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The history of Vidura is that he was born of a Shudra mother, but his seminal father was Vyasadeva. Thus, he was not less than Vyasadeva in any respect. Since he was born of a great father, was supposed to be an incarnation of Narayana, and he composed all the Vedic literatures. Vidura was also a great personality. He accepted Krishna as his worshipable Lord and followed his instructions wholeheartedly. Text 4. Kim what Anvaprichan inquired Maitreyam from the sage Maitreya. Virajas Tirtha Sevaya. Virajaha is Vidura, was without material contamination. Virajaha, Vidura, was without material contamination. Tirtha Sevaya, by visiting sacred places. Upagamya, having met. Kushavartha, at Kushavartha, Haridwar. Many devotees are going in a month, fortunate devotees. Asinam was abiding. Tattva Vittaman, the foremost knower of the science of spiritual life. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Vidura was purified of all passion. Rajaha, Rajaha. Rajaha is the word. Rajoguna, perhaps, yeah. Because Prabhupada is translating like that. Vidura was purified of all passion, Virajaha, by wandering in sacred places, Tirtha Sevaya. And at last he reached Haridwar, where he met the great sage who knew the science of spiritual life, Maitreya Rishi. And he inquired from him. Shaunak Rishi therefore asked, what more did Vidura inquire from Maitreya? Amazing. This is a nice purport. We can imagine what Prabhupada will talk about. Tirtha Sevaya. Why does one go to Tirtha Yatras? Haridwar, Patrinath, which is coming up. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here the words Virajas Tirtha Sevaya refer to Vidura, who was completely cleansed of all contamination by traveling to places of pilgrimage. In India, there are hundreds of sacred places of pilgrimage, of which Prayag, Haridwar, Vrindavan, and Rameshwaram are considered principal. After leaving his home, which was full of politics and diplomacy, yeah. After leaving his home, which was full of politics and diplomacy, Vidura wanted to purify himself by traveling to all the sacred places, which are so situated that anyone who goes there automatically becomes purified. This is especially true in Vrindavan. Any person may go there, and even if he is sinful, he will at once contact an atmosphere of spiritual life and will automatically chant the names of Krishna and Radha. That we have actually seen and experienced. It is recommended in the Shastra that after retiring from active life and accepting the Vanaprastha retired order, one should travel everywhere to places of pilgrimage in order to purify himself. Vidura completely discharged this duty and at last reached Kushavrata or Haridwar, where the sage Maitreya was sitting. So I can imagine Maharaj will speak about Vidura and Maitreya in Haridwar, the yatra. Another significant point is that one must go to sacred places not only to take bath there, but to search out great sages like Maitreya and take instructions from them. If one does not do so, his traveling to places of pilgrimage is simply a waste of time. Narottam Das Thakur, a great Acharya of the Vaishnava sect, has for the present forbidden us to go to such places of pilgrimage, because in this age, times having so changed, a sincere person may have a different impression on seeing the behavior of the present residents of the pilgrimage sites. It is recommended. So again, this is Vapu and Vani. Yesterday, day before, I was hearing His Holiness Haladhar Maharaj in Alachua, disciple, sannyas disciple of His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj. Topic was association of devotees. And he was speaking about residing in Vrindavan and abiding in Vrindavan. There is a difference between the two. And he was sharing that one may not be able to reside in Vrindavan 24 hours a day, but one can abide in Vrindavan 24 hours a day. So he was speaking about that. So here Prabhupada is saying there may be many residents in Vrindavan who are living there, but they are not abiding by the principle of Vrindavan, which is doing everything for the pleasure of Krishna. That's the principle that abides Vrindavan. So anyway, so here Narottam Prabhupada is quoting Narottam Das Thakur is saying, don't go to holy places because you'll get bewildered. Because the people that are there, mostly their lives are not so holy. And you will see the external dham of Vrindavan. And we will not really see Vrindavan. We will commit some offenses against the dham or the sadhus. So Narottam Das Thakur is forbidding this. But anyway, the main point is we go to the holy places to hear, not just see the dham with our eyes, but through our ears we see the dham. And the basic principle of going to the dham is hearing from the sadhus. Yeah, this is what Maharaj was also speaking today. Amongst the 5 most potent items of devotional service, 64, 5 are, first is sadhu sangha, right? Yeah. Associating with the devotees, Nam, Dham, Bhagavatam, deity and devotee. There's a book Bhagavata and a person Bhagavata. And so when one associates with the devotees, then all the other 4 things, they will come. And then, of course, one associates with the devotees internally. Maharaj was speaking about that, Thaladhar Maharaj. One can associate with the Vaishnavas externally, or one can associate with the Vaishnavas internally. So external association will not be so useful, but internal association will be very beneficial. So here, Srila Prabhupada is discussing about all that. Anyway, there is so much to say, as you can see. Yeah. He has recommended that instead of taking the trouble to travel, yes, austerity. Instead, he has recommended that instead of taking the trouble to travel to such places, one should concentrate his mind on Govinda, and that will help him. But of course, it's a catch situation, catch 22. Of course, to concentrate one's mind on Govinda in any place is a path meant for those who are the most spiritually advanced. So neophyte, maybe he cannot do that. Because neophyte, as we see from the scriptures, he has to see the deity form of the Lord. He has to go to the temple to see the deity, to feel the presence of the Lord. But anyway, Srila Prabhupada is encouraging here that instead of running around here and there to the holy places, not that we should not go, but just we don't go to the holy places as a, for sightseeing. We just take some photographs, etc. But the main principle is to hear from the tirthas, the places. I mean, the sadhus themselves are tirthas. So Prabhupada is saying instead of running around here and there, one should concentrate his mind on Govinda, and that will help him. Of course, to concentrate one's mind on Govinda in any place is a path meant for those who are the most spiritually advanced. This is not for ordinary persons. And then Prabhupada again sort of comes around. Ordinary persons may still derive benefit from traveling to holy places like Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavan, and Haridwar. So Prabhupada is not discouraging, one should go, but then one should understand why one is going to receive the full benefit of going there. Next paragraph. So this is probably saying it is this one, the next paragraph is even better. It is recommended in this verse that one find a person who knows the science of God or a tattva with, in this case, Maitreya Rishi. Vidura finds Maitreya in Haridwar and he hears from him. And Bhagavatam is story within the story within the story. In the first canto, Shaunaka, Adi Rishis are asking Sutta Goswami. And this is the third canto. And so Shaunakadi Rishis are asking Sutta Goswami again, what did Vidura ask? What were his further inquiries from Maitreya? So, and that's why Prabhupada is focusing on that word in the verse, which is Tattva Vitta Mam. Tattva Vitta Mam. Asinam. One should sit near and hear. Udasi, yeah. Upasina. Upasana. Let's just continue. It is recommended in this verse that one find a person who knows the science of God or a tattva with. And mercifully, the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, they are traveling. There is Jangam Tirtha, right? There is Sthavara Tirtha. Sthavara Tirtha, Sthavara and Jangam. Sthavara means stationary, and Jangam means walking, perambulatory, moving about. So these Jangam Tirthas are existing always, the devotees of the Lord. They may be fewer in numbers, they may manifest and become unmanifest. There may be an explosion, Hare Krishna explosion, or there may be a disappearance, like during Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time. Practically, the Lord, followers of Lord Chaitanya had disappeared. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur revived it. So there are Jangam Tirthas. So these devotees are so merciful that they travel every 3-4 days, they travel and then they purify the people. So the Tirthas are coming to other places and making that place a Tirtha, like Chicago, Nepal, etc., Alachur. Because these devotees, they carry Vrindavan in their heart. Narottam Das Thakur talks about all that in his bhajan. Okay. Anyway, it's recommended that in this verse that one find a person who knows the science of God or a tattvavit. Tattvavit means one who knows the absolute truth. There are many pseudo-transcendentalists, even at places of pilgrimage. And one has to be intelligent enough to find the actual person to be consulted. Then one's attempt to progress by traveling to different holy places will be successful. One has to be freed from all contamination, and at the same time, he has to find a person who knows the science of Krishna. So it's chicken or the egg, but one has to be freed from all contamination. And at the same time, he has to find a person who knows the science of Krishna. So one may not be fully free from contamination, but somehow or the other, if he finds somebody who knows the science of Krishna, then in their association, one will become free fully of contaminations. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dadavi. In either case, take association of sadhus. And Prabhupada is saying, Krishna helps a sincere person, as stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna Prasade. By the mercy of the spiritual master in Krishna, one attains the path of salvation, devotional service. If one sincerely searches for spiritual salvation, then Krishna, being situated in the heart of everyone, gives him the intelligence to find a suitable spiritual master. By the grace of the spiritual master like Maitreya, one gets a proper instruction and advances in his spiritual life. And it's just an amazing purport. And then we have not even discussed about Vijara. But briefly, um, yeah, Vidura is one of those great characters in Mahabharata. Um, so most of us know. So Vidura, he was the son of a maid servant and Vyasadeva, as we saw in the third verse. He's referred to as the son of Dwapayanath Navaro. Dwapayanath Navaro. He was the son of Vyasadeva and he was not less than Vyasadeva. Navaro is not less than Vyasadeva. So many qualities of there are there of Vijaya, but he's most known for two things, three things mainly. Viduhu means the word Vidura. Viduhu means very sagacious, knowledgeable, and knowledgeable in both uh, Niti and Bhagavad Dharma, both. And then he is known to be uh, a tireless or a relentless well-wisher friend. Case in point, Dhritarashtra, his brother. And foremost quality is his devotee of Lord Krishna, Vaishnava. Yeah. So we don't have time, but most of us know how Yamaraj became Vidura. Yeah. So there is a pastime. So we'll not get into that, but we know how Yamaraj became Vidura. So Yamaraj is Dharmaraj, is one of the 12 Mahajans. So that same 12 Mahajan, one of the 12 Mahajans became Vidura, and he took part in Krishna's pastimes. And Vidura, as we know from Mahabharata, uh, in Mahabharata, the two most sagacious persons are considered to be Krishna and Vidura. And all the conversations that Vidura had with Dhritarashtra from very early on, as we know, these three brothers, Pandu, Dhritarashtra, and Vidura, yeah, they were conceived by Vyasadeva, an heir to the Kurus, had to be there. So somehow or the other, through Ambika, Umbalika, and then Shudrani, these three children were conceived by Vyasadeva. And so from the beginning, Vidura, he was always the well-wisher of the Kuru dynasty. And of course, he was also known to not shy away from speaking the truth. So from the beginning of his life, he would advise Dhritarashtra. He became the counselor of the Kuru dynasty because he was born as the son of a Shudra. When Satyavati, she asked Bhishmadev amongst the three sons who is qualified to take the kingdom after Maharaj Shantanu and Vichitravirya and Chitrangada and all that. So Bhishmadev mentioned that Dhritarashtra is the most powerful person. Pandu is very qualified in military warfare. And Vidura is the most knowledgeable person, wise. But because he was born as a Shudra mother, he could not ascend the throne of Kurukshetra or Hastinapur. But he remained in Hastinapur and he gave advice to Dhritarashtra. And mostly that advice fell on deaf ears. Dhritarashtra was not wicked, but he was weak-hearted. Duryodhana was wicked. Dhritarashtra was not wicked. He was weak-hearted. He would hear the advice of Vidura and he would even consider it carefully. But then Duryodhana would come and influence his father because of his blind attachment to his son, and he could not implement many of the advice that Vidura gave. But Vidura never lost hope. So this is the true friend, well-wisher. He never lost hope because he could see that Dhritarashtra was redeemable. He was redeemable. He was not wicked. He was weak-hearted. So he never left his side, Dhritarashtra's side. And it was very, very difficult for Vidura to be there, to be part of all the politics, as is being mentioned here, that happened in the Kuru dynasty. But he stayed on, wishing well of the Kuru dynasty and to protect, the interest of the Pandavas, and to protect the Pandavas. So he stayed on, although it was very, very austere for him, for a sadhu to live in such a, malicious place. It's not easy, but he stayed on to protect the Pandavas and to advise Dhritarashtra or anyone else that could hear him. Anyway, so we know many, many pastimes how through a cryptic message he saved the Pandavas from the house of lack. He told them that one who understands that there are weapons besides piercing weapons that one can be killed by, if he understands that, he will be protected. So he spoke this message in a cryptic way. One who understands that when there is a forest fire, all the animals, but animals like snakes and rats who go underground can protect themselves. One who can restrain his senses and intelligence and mind will become prosperous. So he understood. Yudhishthira was very sage and was wiser himself. Yudhishthira also, again, there was also a natural connection between Yudhishthira and Vidura. Vidura, as we are understanding, he is, Yamaraj himself was cursed, and he takes birth as Vidura, and has been Yudhishthira is the son of Yamaraj. So there is a natural connection, affection between the two. They are like-minded, like it is mentioned, like Vyasadev's son is Vidura. Like-mindedness. Similarly, Vidura and Yudhishthira were like-minded. Anyway, so he gave this cryptic message to, he spoke it openly. So one has to know, especially in a diplomatic environment, how to speak that, people will understand and the message, wise people will understand and the message is also delivered. Kunti could not understand what that was, but Yudhishthira understood. And he told his, family that we should be careful. Something is being planned here. And we know, most of us know the details. Before the house of lac was set on fire, so Vidura, he engaged a person to dig a tunnel and he gave him the same cryptic message. And when he came to Yudhishthira, he spoke that same cryptic message so he could understand, Yudhishthira could understand, oh, this is a person sent by Vidura. And he dug the tunnel. And when he got out, there was a boat waiting for the Pandavas. And the boatmen also, all had the same code. Vidura gave them the message, gave him the message, also the boatman. So in this way, the Pandavas could understand that this uncle Vidura, he is actually there protecting us. Okay. And then skipping many, many details, and then the intricacies in the politics of, the Kuru dynasty became intensified. And it came to the point of being, a war, essentially. And even Lord Krishna, he came as a peace messenger. And Vidura could understand that Duryodhana would insult him. Duryodhana would insult Vidura many, many times, but he stayed on. Again, because of this, because of his well-wishing for Dhritarashtra and to protect, the Pandavas, to secure, the Pandavas and that. So anyway, long story short, so Krishna, he came as a peace messenger, and Vidura was asking, why have you come? Because a devotee cannot bear that his Lord is insulted. But Krishna expressed that I want to leave no stone unturned, and tomorrow no one should say that the Pandavas instigated the war. So we will make all efforts for peace, and if no other option remains, if war is inevitable, then let it be so. But let the Kauravas, Duryodhana, and etc., let them ask for the war. Anyway, this also addresses many of the concerns that people have. Oh, why would Krishna incite a war? He didn't incite a war. He was trying to avoid it at all costs. But of course, there are multiple purposes. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasha chaya dushkritam. Krishna also wanted all the people to assemble in one place, annihilate them, re-establish dharma, and go back. Anyway, so when the war is imminent, then Vidura, he leaves. He doesn't want to take side. So again, this is another important point. Vidura, some of the Kauravas like Dronacharya, Bhishmadev, Bacharya, etc., they knew what was what, but their loyalties, were in the wrong place in one sense. On one level, they were loyal to the Kauravas because they were their maintainers. But then Vidura, although Duryodhana made him feel like that many, many times, who are you, Shudra, living here? So he openly insulted Vidura many times, and his father, Dhritarashtra, also didn't check him. And Vidura would understand that I should leave now. Anyway, so Vidura did not want to participate in the war. Also, because he wanted to leave, the Acharya explained, he wanted to leave a door open for Dhritarashtra to somehow penetrate Dhritarashtra's heart at some point or the other. And if he fought against the Kauravas, that would not happen. So he left for pilgrimage. He left his bow and he left for pilgrimage. So this whole third canto section that we're talking about here, this is that section where Vidura has left the palace and the war is continuing and the war has finished, war has happened. And Vidura is traveling all the holy places. And Krishna also has disappeared. Krishna has spoken Uddhava Gita. And when Krishna has spoken Uddhava Gita, Maitreya Rishi was also there. And Krishna told Uddhava and Maitreya that Vidura will come and you give this knowledge to him. What you've heard from me, you please share it with him. Yeah. So Vidura meets Uddhava, but Uddhava, he defers to Maitreya Rishi because Maitreya is elder to him. And Maitreya Rishi then is sharing. So that's the whole context here. So we're hearing this third canto onwards, there is a discussion between Vidura and Maitreya. So Vidura hears from Maitreya, and then he comes back to the palace one last time to save Dhritarashtra. So his three, crowning qualities are, very wise, relentless friend, even well-wisher, and a devotee of Krishna. And even this Chanakya Niti that is very, very famous, Prabhupada used to quote it all the time. The Chanakya Niti, the basis of Chanakya Niti is Vidura Niti. And all the conversations that Vidura had in Hastinapur, whether it was with Dhritarashtra or with all of the, because he was the counselor, the spiritual guide for everyone, all that is considered to be Vidura Niti. And Chanakya Niti is based on Vidura Niti. Anyway, so just to wrap up everything, I thought I'll read something, just a few verses more, and then we'll end. So Vidura has met Maitreya Rishi, and then he comes back to Hastinapur. And then when he comes back to Hastinapur, so we'll go to the first canto, 13th chapter. Dhritarashtra quits home. So I'd just like to read the translation of some verses. Very nice. Text 1, Sri Sutta Goswami said, so Sutta is speaking, a story within a story. Sutta is speaking in the first canto to the Shaunakadi rishis, what Buddha going to the places of pilgrimage, and then in this third canto, in a way that thing is being elaborated, that places, visit to the holy places. Sri Sutta Goswami said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya, and then returned to Hastinapur. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. So as Prabhupada was mentioning, Tattvavit, one takes shelter of such a person in a holy place and one hears from him about Krishna and transcendental subject matters, not from pseudo transcendentalists, but from real transcendentalists. Text 2, after asking various questions, same thing. So here, that's the same thing is being asked here. The Shaunakadi rishis are asking, what further did Vidura ask Maitreya? You follow? So here, after asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendent loving service of Lord Krishna, Vidura retired from putting, he stopped, retired from putting questions to Maitreya Muni. Now he's returned. When they saw Vidura return to the palace, this is how one should receive a saintly person. When they saw Vidura return to the palace, all the inhabitants, Maharaj Yudhishthira, his younger brothers, Dhritarashtra, Satyaki, Sanjaya, Kripacharya, etc., Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Kripi, many of the wives of the Kauravas and other ladies with children, all hurried to him in great delight. It so appeared that they had regained their consciousness after a long period. So the war is over, and this Harsha Shoka, in one sense, Harsha Shoka, they had to pay a price of the war, left many, many scars. With great delight, they all approached him as if life had returned to their bodies. They exchanged obeisances and welcomed each other with embraces. Due to anxieties and long separation, they all cried out of affection. King Yudhishthira then arranged to offer sitting accommodations and a reception. After Vidura ate sumptuously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present there listened. Maharaj Yudhishthira said, my uncle, do you remember how you always protected us along with our mother from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of a bird, saved us from poisoning and arson. While traveling on the surface of the earth, how did you maintain your livelihood? At which holy places and pilgrimage sites did you render service? Tirtha Sevaya, Viraja Tirtha Sevaya. My Lord, devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified, because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart. You turn all places into places of pilgrimage. What is the need for you to go, my uncle? And then he asks, you must have visited Dwaraka. In that holy place are our friends and well-wishers, the descendants of Yadu. How is everyone? Anyway, so so many more things can be said, but time is limited. So the glories of Vidura, we discussed briefly the glories of Vidura. And then in the second purport, Srila Prabhupada is especially talking about the glories of the saintly persons. Of course, the holy places, but the saintly persons, how the saintly persons are verily holy places themselves. And one should find out one. If one is sincere, Krishna will send a saintly person, a sincere saintly person, a true saintly person in one's life. And we should follow, like here is mentioned, Vidura not only, in the first verses, not only was he devoted to Krishna, it was 3:23. Is the word here? Tat param api anavita. Sarvatmana Shrita Krishna. He was definitely sheltered at the lotus feet of Krishna. But Tasmat Parataram Devi, it's like almost like that. Aradhananam Sarvesham, Vishnu Aradhanam Param, Tasmat Parataram Devi, Tadiyanam Samarcharam. But here is saying, Tat Params Cha Api Anuvrataha. Not like I am only surrendered to Krishna, but Vaishnavas, I don't care. But here it is mentioned that he was even more surrendered or equally surrendered to the Vaishnavas. He followed them. He took shelter of Krishna and was attached to his devotees. Attached to his devotees. So anyway, let us pray to Vidura that somehow or the other a speck of the qualities that he has, the attachment to Krishna and his attachment to sadhus like Maitreya and Bhishma Dev and his father Vyasadev, he would hear that a drop of his qualities may come into our heart. Okay, so we'll pause there and see if there is any discussion. If people want to leave, they can leave. If there's any comments or questions. Many of the devotees are from India, some of them, at least those who are joining live. So if you want to share anything, ask anything, welcome. Hare Krishna. Okay, all right. So let's pause there.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Shanti Prabhu. Yes,
Please,
please.
please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you very much, Ji, for nice lecture. What I understood from today's class is Prabhu very important because as we know that, as you said, as I understood Prabhu, as the festivals are going to come, Janmashtami, Radhashtami, Balram Jayanti, Vyasa Puja, and Kartik month. So these festivals are very important, which are going to come. So I'm thinking myself that I should prepare myself to celebrate this festival with prayers to Lord Gurudev, because you see, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि this festival that mechanically and every year which I celebrate, so this festival should not be going like way. So I'm inspired from here to you, Prabhu, that because this before celebrating this festival, because Krishna is giving mercy in this particular occasions, Krishna gives mercy. So it is my also responsibility that I should be careful means to celebrate this festival in proper mood of prayer. That I want more deep understanding of Srila Prabhupada books, or want to remain serious in Krishna consciousness, So to hear is तो ऐसा लगा था कि ये फेस्टिवल्स आ रहे हैं तो आई शुड बी मोर केयरफुल माई सेल्फ. तो जैसा ना कि एज यू सेड कि ऐसे पिलग्रिमेज में जाना और वहाँ पर सिर्फ साधु से सुनना, दैट इज वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट rather than to see sightseeing or what. तो बस यही इंस्पायर हो रहा था कि फेस्टिवल्स आ रहे हैं तो शुड बी प्रिपेयर्ड. जैसे कहीं जाते हैं तो अगर इफ वी प्रिपेयर्ड अवरसेल्फ बिफोर गोइंग टू एनी प्लेस, और जैसे जन्माष्टमी फेस्टिवल एनी अदर, so go in a prayerful mood before going or celebrating these festivals. So this I could understand from your class, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, two things, comments. Yeah, our experience, as you're saying, our experience of those festivals or the yatra or anything, like we've been hearing in the morning classes, right? And simple things like offering obeisances. If we do it in the right way, we run around after peak experiences, or Kirtan Mela is coming, or but do these simple things, as you're saying, just offering obeisances. If we do it with the right, consciousness and the right way, it is very, very powerful. Yeah. So yeah, that's that. And then, and as you're saying, preparation, and that's why Guru Maharaj, he is very conscious about, what's coming up, what festivals. He's aware of the seasons through the year, what festivals are coming up. So typically, like in March time frame, he will focus, he'll turn his attention to Lord Chaitanya and his associates. Come April, is Lord Ram, Ram Navami. Come May, is Lord Nrsimhadev. Then now, like in a week, Maharaj is coming here to Alachua, Florida. He'll be here for 4 days. Focus is, he'll be here for Balaram Purnima, 19th. So the focus is Lord Balaram. So there will be 6 or 7 presentations on Lord Balaram. And as you're saying, so why is that? Just to prepare our consciousness to receive Balaram's appearance day and Janmashtami and so on and so forth. That. Yeah, so our experience will be in proportion to our preparation and our anticipation and our eagerness. Yes, thank you so much. Nice point. Very good. Okay, I think we'll end there. Thank you all for showing that. So read the purports. I mean, the purports of Prabhupada Bhagavatam, especially the 4th purport was very ecstatic. Nothing really more needs to be said. Prabhupada's purports are so clear, definitive. It's just very clear. Thank you, Hare Krishna.